Because of the regulations that Tracy just mentioned and the rapid industrialization of Thailand today, it's easy for lead pollution to occur. Lead can pollute air, water, and soil, and it can be a man-made product such as lead paint. Once lead is in a source in a human being's environment, it can enter the bloodstream through inhalation or ingestion. The health effects of lead exposure, as Trevor mentioned before, can range in severity. It can feel like a general sickness, or it can permanently damage your brain. It may ultimately be fatal. We aim to help here. We want to prevent exposure so that we can mitigate these health effects.
From the program management just mentioned, we aim to create an effective education program for the students, parents, and teachers to increase their awareness. Our sponsor is Dr. Nathorn Vichitwanakan, founding Dean of School of Global Study, Thammasat University. She does research about lead exposure in School of Rayong, and now she is involved in the study of lead poisoning originate from food dyes.
And so in order to create a popular program, we follow these four objectives. First is to gain the information on how to best educate the community so that our target audience can receive information from us effectively. And then second, we'll be designing our educational program to inform our target audience about the lead exposure. And then next, we'll be implement our design educational program at the selected schools in Thailand. And last, we'll be evaluating effectiveness of our program to see if it is suitable for our target audience and also if our goal is well achieved.
So we created these objectives based on the 10-question guideline from the Center for Environmental Communication at Rutgers University in the United States. And this guideline is designed for startup educational programs just like the one that we aim to create. It's also a great model for participatory action research, which is keeping your target group involved during the design and creation of a program. This will give them a sense of ownership and will result in success. So let's talk about our objectives. We place them into this cyclical model so that we can constantly be evaluating our results, going back and redesigning our program, and implementing it at as many sites as we need to obtain a best final product.
So we first brought our project to Bangkok. We designed it at Wat Patum Wanadam School under the patronage of Her Royal Highness Princess Maha Jakri Sirinthorn. This school is an average-sized school in Bangkok with about 35 students per class, and they had the topic of lead was not something that had been brought to them previously. So we designed our project there, and then we brought it to Rayong. In the study that Trevor mentioned earlier, this school, Ban Khao Hue Mahad, was one of the 5 schools that participated in the study. And out of the students at that school that were screened for lead, 1/3 of them had dangerously high levels of lead in their bloodstream. That's why we chose to work at that school.
So this is a layout of our methodology. As you can see, we were able to go through our cycle twice at the locations that Tracy just mentioned. But before even entering a school, we needed to do some research to understand how the students learn best. What types of lessons do the students enjoy, and which lessons will they retain the most knowledge from? So we studied basic general student education, some existing lead education programs, and we also interviewed teachers to ask questions like, what types of lessons do they enjoy doing? How do their students learn best? And what we found out is that visuals, interactive activities, and tests of knowledge that lead to rewards is how students learn best. We were then ready to design our first draft of our program, which begins the Bangkok phase.
One of our deliverables is that we get to school is a lesson plan. This lesson plan is used as the deliverable manual to introduce users to able to understand and able to use our material correctly. We provide pamphlets to school teachers and parents. It contains the basic information about source of lead, how lead can affect our health, and how to prevent ourselves from lead. This will be more descriptive from the things that we taught at the school.
We also designed this Healthy Habits poster, which we gifted to the schools that allowed us to implement our program in them. This is an English copy. You can see English on that side. It's just a visual reminder of all the things they should have learned in our lesson, how they can keep themselves safe in life. Now that we've talked about the design of our program, we're going to move on to our implementation.
In Bangkok, we implemented our program in 5 classes in grades 1 through 5. For students in grades 1 through 3, we administered a survey before the lesson and after the lesson so we could track what the students learned. In order to get the information we wanted to get across, we showed the students an interactive video that featured Lead Boy and Lead Girl, 2 superheroes that were saving their friends from lead exposure. The information we wanted to convey was woven into the story, and then we tested the students' knowledge by playing Soy Dao, a traditional Thai game that's played in class. However, we modified it for our own purposes. Each student selected a numbered star and then answered a question based on the number that was on their star. We included all of that information in the lesson plans, and we also gave the students stickers that had pictures of Lead Boy and Lead Girl on them, as well as the phrase lead-free community.
We designed a separate lesson plan for grades 4 through 6. Unfortunately, when we went to Bangkok, grade 6 was testing the week that we were there, and so we could not implement our program with them. But for grades 4 and 5, we implemented this program. Tracy just talked about the student survey and the stickers. Those were consistent. However, the lesson plan differed in that instead of a story, there was an interactive presentation to teach the kids about lead. After that, there was a Jeopardy game in which they could test their knowledge. The students really loved the Jeopardy game. They were very competitive and they loved stealing points from each other. And at the end of the game, they got a prize. Now we're going to talk about how we evaluated the success of our program.
We used 3 different methods to evaluate the success of our program, and the first one was our own observations. All of our Thai partners were the ones teaching a lesson to the students, so we had the time to observe. And in our observations, we found that the students really did enjoy our lessons. However, the gameplay for Soy Dao and Jeopardy extended a little bit longer than we had anticipated.
We interviewed teacher again after our implementation to find our weak points in our lesson plan, and one of the teacher from grade 1 to 3 said that some Soy Dao questions were hard for the students to answer. Another suggests that we should have a DVD for the teacher, which will be easier to spread to other people. One of the school teacher from grades 4 to 5 suggests that mentioned that the student found it was hard to remember the name of chemistry.
Our final way to evaluate was through student survey results. This first graph here shows results from grades 1 to